Hello, it is me, Shirek Alabuena. Okay, so I was just going through a few things in my, uh, I guess you could say my personal life, in relation to relationship stuff and brain stuff and heart stuff. And so I just felt like, I don't know, it's kind of good information, and I felt like I should just, I don't know, let people know about it. So I've had an ongoing relationship, or I don't know what you would call it really, but it's like a connect. We'll call it a connection. I've had an ongoing connection with this guy. We're able to see each other online, but we haven't actually talked. And so I have been going through working on myself, and we, I, I'm trying to figure out how to say what I want to say. So I really super love him a lot. And I don't know if he knows it exactly, because I think that both of us have had some hard things happen in our lives with relationships and things like that. And I know my previous relationship wasn't exactly the type of person who really showed me that he cared about me. He mostly showed me how cruel and how uncaring he was, and how much he didn't love me or care about me. So I've had to deal with the pain of that for a really, really super long time. Well, I can't say a super long time, but long enough. And so recently, over the last, I would say maybe a couple weeks, a month, or it's probably been longer, I don't know, but more recent, I'm starting to learn about like the things that are hanging out in my heart. Now, I'm not talking about this stuff so that I can vent or whatever. I mean, yes, it does make me feel good to talk about it, but I'm saying it because I think people don't always recognize this type of experience for themselves personally. So, like, I just want to give like a perspective of like, hey, this is what I did, or this is my thought process, or this is my way of viewing this or that. And maybe you might want to change your perspective or take from information that I've learned about. So, basically, what I'm getting at is for the longest time in this experience, I have realized that my heart has been misplaced, or not misplaced. It's been like somewhere else. I don't know how to explain it because I don't know all the details, but I'm learning more about my heart. And the more I learn about my heart, and the more I have God in my life, which I just, it's like a little splash, like, hey, I'm here. God being in my life, I'm learning more about like how to focus on my heart instead of like focusing on my ego or the pain, or focusing on the suffering or the sadness or the agony, or the hurt. So I'm getting better about doing that. And one thing that I was just talking about today is the ego rejection, the rejection of the ego. If I say how I really feel, will I get received or will I get rejected? That's the question. I think that's everyone's question whenever they're thinking or feeling about, telling somebody or showing someone how they feel. It's that pain of the sadness of like, hey, I really admire you so much, but it'd really suck if you didn't admire me back, or you didn't see me the same, or you didn't feel the same, or you didn't love me the same that I love you. And I've been working on this for a while. And I think that's one of the reasons why everyone needs to have God in their heart. Because when God's in your heart, it's almost like nothing can touch you, stop you, and everything. But when you're, and that's when you have your heart in your heart and you're focused on your heart, you have so much love to give that that little blip on the radar scale of like rejection doesn't hurt you as much. So I think that's one of the reasons why they say in marriages or relationships that you have to have God first. You have to have a relationship with God first so that you can have patience and divine love and divine guidance, and know, and not focus on the person. You focus on yourself. You focus on the love that you have and the love that you're loving. That's why they always say to love yourself. And you have to figure out like what makes you love yourself. So this might be a longer video than I thought, but this is all the things that I'm doing for myself so that I can feel safe. Because what makes you feel safe? You have to figure out what makes you feel safe. How do you feel safe? You know, if you eat, like sometimes food, this is a perfect example. Food. Um, there's foods out there that are not good for you and they make you feel unsafe. So you're eating the unsafe food. Like, stop doing that. you know, if they say it's bad for you, you're doing something, you're making yourself feel unsafe. Like, if how do I say this? So like an example would be a person who's an alcoholic. They're unsafe every day. What other reason would they be drinking and doing all those things? They're not taking care of themselves, they're not loving themselves, they're not, you know, protecting themselves, they're not making themselves feel safe. They're abandoning themselves, not thinking about why they're doing it. They're just doing it. They just completely abandon themselves and just go with that. Like, well, the alcohol make me feel safe, but it really doesn't. It makes you even more unsafe because when you drink, you can't even stand. It takes you out of your body. It pollutes your body so that you have no control over your body whatsoever. So, anyways, I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but this is kind of a winging it video. Um, so what I'm trying to say, bringing it back into the heart, is there's something I just reminded myself of something when I was hanging out with my teacher when I would um, learn from my teacher when he was teaching me meridian energetics. I never meditated before I met him. I was like, well, I don't even know how to meditate. And so he told me in the beginning, that's an introductory, that, if your mind goes off somewhere else, just gently bring yourself back. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't hate yourself, so that's been something that I've been undoing, is not hating myself anymore for the things that I put myself through, for abandoning myself, for making myself feel unsafe, for putting myself in circumstances that I shouldn't have. I should have, I don't know, I should have done something else, but that's not the point. I don't want to talk about that right now. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that the love that you have, if you have so much love and you're 100% connected to God and you don't worry about a thing, you're totally loved. You don't have to worry about whether or not another person loves you because you love you. You can take care of you. You protect yourself. You make yourself feel safe. You are loved and safe. And that's the way it is. You don't have to worry about another person. Now, when you're in a relationship and you have a relationship with that person, always, they call it the holy pause. I don't know. I'm just going with whatever's flowing out of my. They call it the holy pause. It's like making a decision. You kind of pause for a moment and you wait for the response. Like, it's almost like a higher guidance. You wait for the response. You wait for the love, or you wait for the expression to come through. And then instead of acting on your ego, your unconsciousness, you listen to the consciousness, you listen to the heart communicate, you listen to the soul communicate, so that you can move in a peaceful, honest, truthful, polite way. A lot of times we run over. I was gonna say run around. I'm like, that's not the right word. We run over ourselves because we don't give ourselves enough time to feel or to think or to process through something. So something that I learned earlier today, is that I've been feeling all this, like, so one thing that my teacher said to me one time when we were in a session where we were talking before we did the meditation. He was like, for some reason, people in the United States, or like in this region, put everything in their stomach, like in their solar plexus, like energy. And then he's like, but the people over in Europe put it all in their head. And I never forgot that, because I was like, man, so like I felt like I wanted to learn the brain stuff that he was talking about, because I felt like it was a different experience, because his teachings were never like they were always tailored to the specific person. It wasn't like a general basic. I mean, there was a basic, but it was still tailored to the person. So, anyways, I've been thinking a lot about it lately because the person that I lived with before I lived here, they were straight ego 100%. It didn't have any kind of heart whatsoever. So, brain, like mental issues and like not in their heart at all. And I've learned a lot about that because the energy from that person, I lived there for 3 months. So I ended up like downloading, you know what I mean? Not exactly fun. But anyways, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. So what I'm trying to say is that um recently I've been focusing more on like the templating of my brain cuz like I most of the time was my teacher taught me was to focus on like like all the way down and not like actually like mental stuff or like back here. So I've been removing like old mental templates of like I don't even know what they're called. I just know that it like has this feeling of like burnt, and then I take it out of there because it's a low frequency. I just can't hang. So that's been making my mind a lot more clear. So this is from like the mechanical energetic point of view. So that's been helping me a lot. I think I said that already, but it really really has. And it's also been helping me to be able to be in my heart a little bit more because then it's like my mind isn't sitting here like trying to pound the shit in in the heart, but it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be like open like this and shining in. Your heart's supposed to shine on you or shine on other people instead of like this like darkness that comes down and then you're like I can't do anything. You like block yourself with your mental issues. So I'm not trying to say anybody has mental issues, but I'm going to say I had some mental issues bad. So that ego is part of the mental stuff. It's like the ego is like, whenever I see the ego, I see this black. It's like the opposite of everything. It shouldn't, like, God to me, obviously, I've said it before, God is a neutral particle being. So God can be anything and everything, it's all over. It's like, if you look at it like it's a computer program. So, like, everything is a program. So, you can't, so, how was I going with that? I had a point. Oh, I was talking about the ego. Okay. So the ego is a program. So earlier today, I was like, okay, I recognized that my brain, my etheric, okay, so like the etheric, if you don't know about the etheric, you're going to have to go look it up because I've been talking about it for a while. Pause the video and look up what etheric means if you don't know. Um, I don't mean to say it in like that serious type of way, but seriously, you should research and look it up. So, anyways, okay. So, the etheric body is a replica of your physical body. I look at it like it's water. So, it's like, or maybe it's plasma. I'm not totally sure. Anyway, I've always seen it as water, but I just got the word plasma, so that's why I said it. So, anyways, I have to research to figure it out. So, um, everything has an etheric body. Your etheric body is a replica of everything in your body. So I was like, I've been feeling this feeling like like something's with my brain, like it's maybe my brain's like not in place. So I've been like, I just been removing stuff off of my etheric body. And then earlier, just about, before this video, I was like, okay, my brain feels like it's like way out here. I'm like, it's not supposed to be back there. So then I started to look with my third eye and I was like, basically you can look through, so you look through your third eye, but you can be omnipresent like God, and you can look through your higher self, and you can look through your little person. You can look through your heart can show you too. So anyways, I started looking at my brain and I was like, there's like weird, like there was like this thing that was like spinning around my head, and then it was like I think it was connected to my pineal gland. And then so I asked if it was okay to take that off because I didn't really know, maybe it was supposed to be there. So it was okay to take it off, so I took it off. And then I felt like this weird, like, like dizzy kind of a little bit. And then it settled. And I'm like, okay, this is good. And then, like, I started to see this, like, it was like this weird, like, kind of black, like, just kind of like all around throughout my head. And I was like, or not on the outside, like in my head. So I'm like, okay, well, that needs to be cleaned out. So I was like, can I get the vacuum? Because I'll just vacuum that out. But apparently I needed to have the white ball. So the white ball will helps get rid of that tar shit. For some reason the black is like totally attracted to the white. So I just literally pulled the black shit right out of my brain. So I don't really know exactly what that stuff is. There's like something that it's called, but I can't think of what it is right now. But anyways, I cleaned out my mind today and now it's pink. And I love that. How is that going to affect my life? I don't know. I'm probably going to be able to be more grounded. I'm going to be able to think better, feel better, get guidance better, be able to have clear channels a lot more. The other thing that has helped me a lot in relation to this is having a clear heart. So, like, back in the day when I was first going through a spiritual awakening, I used to find like weird brown cords and stuff in my heart space. And so, like, my heart space, I was like, oh, get that out of there, get that out of there, get that out of there. It was really gross. Some of it was like really, really nasty. But it's like that stuff is from when I was growing up. So it was like more like inner child or like DNA or like, generational stuff. So I cleared that stuff out. But then recently, because of the things that I went through, my heart, like basically my heart space was like closed. You're not getting in there. No one's getting in there. But now it's starting to blossom. It's starting to open up a lot more, and so I have more expression. Like, I didn't recognize. I've talked about the thymus gland and how that's connected to the high heart, and I've been clearing out my thymus, my high heart, and clearing out my heart chakra. So basically, like when you go into meditation, this is what I do. I just whatever pops in, whatever pops up, anything that I notice, if it does not make me feel good, I just ask my higher self to take it off or to take it out, or you just let it go, or you get help from, like, if you have a guide or something, you know. I'm more so want to work with myself because I want to do all my own energy work. I'm not trying to have other people do it. But if you have your higher self and you need help, like say for example, I know the I just want to make sure. Okay. I know the Pleiadians help with like implants, so do the Arcturians. Collective Consciousness of Nine can help with that stuff. Um, Lemurians. I love talking to the Lemurians. They're so awesome. Anyways, I think that's good for people. Another thing I've been doing is I take the Black Diamond Flame. I know I've talked about this before, but the Black Diamond Flame basically disintegrates shit. It's gone, like forever. And then like it is basically like nothingness. Like whatever energy was there, it becomes nothing. So then I put the violet flame on it because the violet flame is like a really super loving energy, and it helps a lot. Just helps. It just changes the energetic flow. I've had to clear out some pretty dense energy that I was just like, how in the world did this even happen? Like, it just can't even. So, trying to think of like if that's everything that I was wanting to talk about today. I feel like there's one more thing. Oh, I remember. Okay. So this is good stuff. So hopefully you can grasp this. This is really super awesome. Okay. So let's say that let's say that how do I say this? So God source is a particle being. So to me, God's white. So isn't it? Don't they say that the color white can be any color in the spectrum? So it can be any color. So in other words, it can be any frequency. So God is neutral. So the frequencies are neutral. If a frequency is a frequency, that's the frequency. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be, is just that frequency. It's one stream. It's like a ray of light. It's one stream of light. It's one ray of frequency. Okay? Unless you mix in another color, then it becomes the frequency of both. Yep. Okay. So I just had to make sure. So let's go back to just one frequency is one frequency and another frequency is another frequency. So let's use unsafe and safe. Okay? So unsafe is a frequency, safe is a frequency. It's a completely different frequency. So if you have an unsafe frequency template, or generally it'd be a thought process because you're working from that template. I don't even know if I've ever explained it this awesome. So the template projects the energy that you're working from, that your heart is working from. So if you have that template, I talk about this all the time. It's the grid system that you work with. So the earth has a grid system, and then I have a grid. Everybody has a grid system, their energetic grid system. So then the template that you're working from, the unsafe template that you're working from, like it's kind of like, God source is trying to like push, like get you to understand that you're safe, that you are safe, and you have to like download the safe frequency. You have to download the safe frequency and then let go of the unsafe frequency, or you have to talk to someone like me who can remove the unsafe frequency from you, the unsafe template. It's amazing. It's super amazing. I have 100% changed my life, changed my entire life, just for the simple fact that I know how to do energy work and I understand the psychology, and move forward in my life. I understand how to get out of things like this, like things that I got out of. Oh man, I'll never forget. I was like, it doesn't. I even said it when I was in that house. I was like, it doesn't matter what she can do because I can fix it. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what the person does or says or thinks or feels. You can fix it in yourself. And always be looking for the mirror reflection of what's in you. Because that's another thing that I have shifted and changed. Okay, they're directing me back to the frequency. I'm sorry. I got off track a little bit. So the frequency. So recognize when you are in a frequency of feeling unsafe. If you are feeling unsafe, you're in the frequency. You're in it. So you have to figure out how to receive the safe frequency. Receive the safe frequency. Continue to receive the safe frequency. And then pay attention to when you're feeling safe and when you're feeling unsafe. Pay attention to when you are eating safe food and you're looking at safe, videos. Like, this is a safe video. When you're looking at safe things, when you're looking at safe pictures, when you're in a safe environment, when you're in a safe place, when you're in a safe person, with a safe person, I mean. So pay attention to that. And then when you're focusing, you can tell the difference between what makes you feel safe and what makes you feel unsafe. So if you're feeling the safe frequency and then something makes you feel unsafe, it's going to be super duper loud. It's going to be like, this is unsafe. I need to do something so I can protect myself. So it's like, if you're just like, let's say for example, somebody lives in an environment where they're unsafe every day, you're not going to notice the difference. It's just like, oh, okay, well, okay, so my family life was unsafe most of my life. I'm not talking about me, I'm saying in general. But a person's family life is unsafe most of their life. They grew up in it, they know it. It's a mentality, it's a way of being, it's a behavior, it's everything. So they're not going to know the difference between what's safe and what's not safe unless God comes in and says, hey, I'm a safe place for you to be. Then you can see the difference between what's safe and unsafe. Then you can feel the difference. It's really about feeling. Like when you go out into nature, you should feel safe out there, unless there's like some animal that makes you feel unsafe. It's kind of like if you're sitting with a tree and you're meditating, you're completely safe until you hear a crack. Then you got to look around and see if there's an animal. And it may be not even be an unsafe animal. There might be just a safe animal. It might be just a kitty, you know? None of the kitty's gonna run because it sees you. And you're safe. You're fine. You know what I'm saying? So protect yourself by making yourself feel safe and recognizing that you do not have to live in the unsafe frequency. You can change it. And once you recognize that you're living in a safe frequency, that you're always safe, you're safe in love, you're safe in relationships, you're safe with your parents, you're safe. Well, you can be safe, you can feel safe, but understand that when something makes you feel unsafe, you know what to do to make yourself feel safe. You love yourself, you protect yourself, you recognize the difference between like what's you and what's someone else. That's another thing that I love talking about, which I don't know if I talk about enough on here, is taking things personally. Because sometimes it's not personal at all. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with you. You know, somebody has a reaction to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because of you. It could be just because they're scared, they feel unsafe, because other people or experiences that they've, manifested in their life has made them feel unsafe. But that's not because, you know what I mean? It's kind of like people have this like, they like own this thing where it's like you are the person who's supposed to make people feel safe. I, if I'm hanging out with someone or an animal, even, let's use an animal. So there are, okay, this is a really awesome example. So in my family of, I don't even know, maybe like 5 or 6 or so years ago, my mom in the backyard got a bushel of kittens, and there was like four something of them. Four, I think it was about four. But anyways, um, they were living under her deck, and my mom, is an animal person, so she decided that she wanted to catch them because she didn't want them to be out in the cold because it's gets cold here. So they had to chase the kittens and catch them. And I am intuitive. I'm a cat person, so I'm the cat whisperer person. And so um my mom was telling me about all these cats and how they had to do all this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, yeah." And like it was interesting. They never told me, but so there was this one kitten. It was just the cutest one of them all. And I don't know what the backstory was, but I just felt it that these kittens, they needed their mom. That's what I felt. So I gave them the mom frequency. And I did that, and then I picked up they were in the house. They finally got him. They were in the house. They were just playing or whatever. And I just picked it up and I just held it and I petted him in my lap, and he just let me because he felt safe. I gave him a safe frequency. I gave him a safe love. And then the other thing that I did is I put angels all around him because I didn't want the kitties to feel unsafe. I wanted them to feel safe. They were safe. Just because they were with a human didn't mean that they were not safe. They were. And that's how I tell my kitties too, my feral kitties, that they're safe here. I'm their family now. I feel a little sad that they got taken, the way that it all worked out, but it's okay. They were meant for me. I know that they were meant for me. We were meant for each other. So I'm just saying, pay attention to where was I going with that? There was a point to. Oh, okay. So the kitten could have responded in a way. Okay, so yeah, I got it. The kitten could have responded in a way that they didn't feel safe, and there wouldn't have been anything that I could do about it. It could have been a frequency that I was holding. It's possible. But if a person or an animal is 100% in an unsafe frequency, they are not going to change until they are able to feel the frequency. It could be like a overwhelming, like let's say for example, someone is stuck in a traumatic circumstance where like sometimes like I don't know, they call it post traumatic stress. So like sometimes I get stuck in timelines where I'm like, oh God, there it is again. And like, I'm going through the feelings of it. I'm thinking about it. I'm going through the things and I'm stuck in that moment because it's all I can feel. It's all I can think about. It's all I can, like, I can't get myself out of it. So I'm stuck in that frequency. But that doesn't mean that a person who is super big heart and loving can't walk over to me and be like, it's okay, you're safe. But if I am still in that frequency where I'm stuck there, I'm stuck there. And that person can just slowly over time show me and teach me, or a person, anyone, or an animal, that they're a safe person. You're a safe person. I'm a safe person. We are safe people. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get across. There are people who start relationships who don't know for sure, if they're going to be safe. But on the inside, you have to know. It's two things. One, it's more than two things. Recognize the unsafe frequency and choose to feel safe instead. It might be a painful transition over into safety, but you have to like recognize that you're safe, that you're safe. You have to talk to yourself and recognize that you're safe, that a person is safe, or that you're safe and you can protect yourself if it comes to a point where you're not feeling safe. You can still do something for yourself to make yourself feel safe. That's the whole point of this video. You can do things to make yourself feel safe. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what I've been working on for a long time. Because most of my life, I mean, I have felt safe before, but when you live with people and the circumstances, it makes you feel unsafe. Or, matter of fact, sometimes I have my ex, he projects his unsafe shit over here, over to me. And then I sometimes I don't recognize it. And then I think it's me, but it's really not me. It's just because that's an experience that he had that I downloaded. And I have to work on that. Yeah, I have to work on that. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I don't know if I totally pulled it together, but there's a lot of good information. You know, the main thing is to understand that the frequency of feeling unsafe is objective. The frequency of safe is objective. It's not personal to anyone. It's just a frequency. It's just a feeling. And when you're manifesting, you can choose what frequency you want. For me, when I'm choosing a frequency, I want to choose to feel safe. I want to always choose to feel safe, but I'm working through, like, I feel it back here in my mind. It's just like, hey, I'm still got this stuff back here that I gotta work on, that I gotta fix. Well, to me, I gotta fix it. But anyways, a person, like, let's say for example, you didn't want to dig into your past, you don't want to be a part of that, but you just want to feel safe. So if you can disconnect 100%, like squid, and just disconnect that tentacle, you just disconnect it off, and then you decide you want to feel safe. If you're that type of a person where you can just switch like that, go for it. One day you're not safe, the next day you're safe. You're fine. You're totally fine. It's no big deal. You can switch up frequencies like the a la carte. Why do they call it a la carte? I don't know. I'm just saying. So, I want you to know that you are loved, that you are cared for. And Mr. D, I don't even know how I could ever express the depth of my love for you. It's always going to be there forever. I might look like I don't, I might look like it's not there, but it's definitely there. It's always there. Never left. So I'm going to tell you every time I get on video now, just so you know. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to go make some French toast with some blueberries. All right, until next time, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for subscribing. I noticed I got some more subscribers. Pretty awesome. Thank you for liking my videos. I got some likes and it was super cool. I was like, oh my god, it's been so long. I got some likes. Anyways, until next time.